So I just want to show you how I apply my brow lock. So in my brow kit, I actually started giving these disposable brushes. So what you want to do, is pour some of your brow lock into here. And you just need about, that's actually way too much, oopsies. But, so how you want to apply brow lock is, so get it on one side, wipe the other so there's not a ton. And start in the middle, and then you kind of work your way out so that it's not super heavy on the line itself. So like this, so it's heavy here, and then you just lightly brush it over your line. Because if it's applied thinner, it stays better, right? But having it apply thicker here actually helps it stick here. So when you're stretching, you're putting a lot of pressure on this area, right? So that's why we do that. So again, thick kind of here, and then once almost all of it's off the brush, then you lightly brush over. And see how I'm applying like a fair bit above, like a ½ inch to an inch. You don't want to just apply it on the line, because then it's going to lift a lot easier. And you just want to make sure to coat your outline. And again, apply it kind of thickly on the edges, thin near the outline. So thick, and then just that little bit left on the brush. And just like that. So we're just gonna let this fully dry. And you know it's fully dry when you can touch it and your glove does not stick to it. I recommend right now, this is when you'll change gloves, wash hands, get your tray set up, you know, get your numbing and your ink and everything all set up. As you can see, this appears dry on the top, so I'm going to test it. And sure enough, if you can touch without it sticking to your glove, that is dry. Now this area, that is dry, but as you can see down here, it still looks a little bit wet, and so you want to wait all the way until it looks nice and clear, but the main test is if you can touch it and it doesn't stick. Okay, so after I've applied my numbing cream, after my brow lock is all the way dry, I just take a piece of plastic to occlude it, and what you want to do is pull a little bit taut right here, side to side, and then you want to tap, tap, tap. But on these edges, all you want to do is not press really close to the brow. That's going to loosen around that edge, because when you pull up the plastic wrap, it's going to tug just a little bit on it. So what you instead want to do is tap on the exterior like this. We don't care if the exterior edges lift a little bit during the microblading, but we want to keep that interior edge really nice. But it also helps create a really good seal. Using the brow lock underneath, it helps hold that plastic really nice and taut. So there we go. That's how we apply our little cling wrap film on top to occlude our numbing. So once your numbing is done, obviously we'll take off our plastic, but the best way to remove your numbing to keep the brow lock where it needs to be is first you're going to do one swipe with the hair growth, like moving outward, and then just, you know, wipe off. And then you're going to do one swipe this way. backwards, and just to try to get the numbing out of the hair. And then we just stretch and wipe. And you really should be able to wipe without it affecting your outline. And that's how it should go for brow lock. And you should be able to push and pull and stretch and move, and this should not affect your outline. Okay. If you take your secondary numbing and do it on either a micro tip or a little lipstick wand, and if you, on the interior of the brow, if you just kind of really press and kind of scrub a little bit with your secondary numbing to get that pigment off the skin, just like this. And then take your baby wipe, and you want to stretch while you wipe. This is my trick for getting the brow lock to stay in place as good as possible through that first pass. And when I say through, I usually expect it to stay, you know, through numbing and through like until you finish your first pass. Now, to get it to last into the second, I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. This is the trick there. So, and then I'm just using, you know, carefully wiping on the interior to finish cleaning this up. And then you can just kind of blot over it just like this. So if you, and I got enough strokes in there to where I'm not heartbroken if it didn't stay super well for my second pass, but I just wanted to show you how to do this if you wanted to, you know, get it to stay as well as possible. And you can see, like, for example, on this tail, it's starting to pull away just a little bit. You can see exactly where the white is and where the white isn't. And so it's really easy to see where you can trust your outline and where you cannot. So obviously, just where it's starting to pull away, really focus on watching your strokes in that area and making sure that you're staying in your outline. But you can see how crisp this under edge is still, which is awesome because we're going to add more shading. So this is really going to help me with the second pass of her brow. We are all ready to remove the brow lock. You just got to get your little corners. Sorry. Peel it up. Sometimes it'll pull just a few of those little blondie hairs. And then it's just like one quick, easy wipe. And if you can zoom out, and so just like this. And then of course, if you need to do any tiny little perfecting to your work, you can do that at the end, but I'll do a scan to show you her brows.